Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I give a quick update on the INSPIRED project, the journey and the result thus far. So the reduction of the burden of malaria, schistosomiasis, and hookworm in Nigeria and Gabon through the development of optical diagnostic devices are the main objectives of the INSPIRED project. So the project combines laboratory and field validation of the developed devices with engagement of stakeholders for the uptake of these devices in the healthcare systems in this country. So this presentation will show some of the results of our work in the smart optical detection of Schistosoma hematobium X in urine samples. So we focused basically, or this presentation we focused basically on Schistosoma hematobium procedures. So our research and development of smart diagnostic system is subdivided into three broad categories. The first is the optical imaging of the sample of interest, which is urine in this case. So standard recommendation is to take 10 ml of urine, filter, and look for Schistosoma hematobium X in urine sample. So that is the first focus, how to acquire good images that can contain what we're really looking for, the target in the sample. And in this perspective, we looked at different imaging modalities. But because of the limitation of time, I will focus more on our work on the lens-based system and briefly show recent results from the lensless imaging platforms. So after imaging acquisition, we focus on the development of data-driven algorithm for quick and automated detection of Schisto-X in filtered urine samples. Practical and very strategic for realizing a device that is usable on the field is to keep the user context constantly before us. So this we did by constant engagement and interaction with stakeholders on the field to gather data and insightful feedback to optimize our system development back in the lab at Delft. So basically, generally, microscopy is the WHO reference standard of diagnosis of Schistosoma hematobium, and a standard microscope is a lens-based system, which is a combination of different optical elements, such as lenses, to realize human-operated microscope. The lensless imaging system, however, consists of just a source and the sensor with the sample in between. Comparing the lensless to the lens-based imaging techniques, you will observe that the entire optical train has been replaced by computational methods in the lensless system. So images acquired by both methods, whether the lens-based or the lensless systems, are fed into a data-driven algorithm which screens the image to localize the target and quantify, not just only localize, but localize, quantify, and to also estimate probably the infection load. And then to just give a quick insight into the target or the eggs we are looking at, the typical size of the Schistosoma hematobium eggs, as shown in the slide, are in the range of 110 to 170 by 40 to 70 microns. That is the size of what we are looking at. For the Mansonite, it's a bit different. This knowledge is quite important for us to be able to optimize our system imaging platform to sufficiently have a spatial resolution that can resolve this size of target. So to put in a very easy way, we just labeled our lens-based imaging method, we call it schistoscope. The schistoscope aims at developing an intelligent microscope for quick detection, identification, and quantification of Schistosomiasis hematobium eggs in filtered urine samples. I'll show you, can you see the video playing on the left? So the video on the left shows our colleague in the LUMC lab. And you can probably see her engaging her left hand to scan the sample, her right hand to manually count the object of interest she detects through the ocular with her eyes. Now, I recorded this video in 2019 or thereabout, and on the right is an inspired PhD student under the supervision of Professor Akim at the Semel Laboratory in collaboration with LUMC, of course, in Gabon, using this schistoscope, which we've just developed, one of the iterations of the schistoscope we've developed, to automatically detect and identify Chisto eggs in the lab in September 2020. So comparison of the visual images that you can see now is to put into perspective some of the gaps we identified, and our goal of doing all we can to bridge this gap without necessarily changing the well-known reference microscopy standard. Our Chistoscope has gone through different iterations where we developed and tested various methodologies. Of strategic importance for us in the development of our methodology are important features such as portability. We want the system to be portable enough. We looked at performance, we looked at processing, and above all, we looked at affordability. And as a result, we considered two consumer-based electronics that could be optimized and modified to realize our target goal with strong consideration for robustness, local production, and easy adoption and uptake by stakeholders. So we looked at the smartphone to develop a smartphone-based microscope and a Raspberry Pi based microscope. And our first choice actually was the smartphone. The smartphone was of great practical interest at the beginning because of the integrated optics. So the smartphone comes with an optical train and an embedded processor. So we optimized the optical train, combined it with the integrated camera sensor, and used the phone processor of the control for the control and competition algorithm. So to control maybe the sample movement and to compute for the algorithm, the phone has like an all-in-one package that can be used. And aside the integrated technical capabilities of the smartphone, it is common knowledge that the phone is widely available in rural areas. And of course, maintenance and local support will not be a challenge. While results obtained from the smartphone-based microscope were very impressive and useful news headlines, the restricted degrees of freedom as a result of the limitation of the technical optics makes it quite impractical for real, practical, and sustainable use in rural areas or communities where large screening might be very much required. So therefore, we went a step further to explore the Raspberry Pi based microscope. Now, the Raspberry Pi, as you can see in this on the right-hand side, this is a low-cost credit card-sized computer, that plugs into a computer and uses a standard keyboard and mouse, Raspberry Pi. Also, they have low-cost camera sensors that can come with it. And with this combination, we can develop a very simple optical system that connects with the processor, and then we have a feel of building our own system from scratch. So this enables a tangible grasp on the development of the system, and it provides increased degree of freedom to develop an optical train. But what are the practical challenges, design challenges on the field? Because what we did was to go back and forth. So we don't just want to have a publication or just want to have a very nice news headline. We really want to go to the field, get some user context feedbacks, and then come back to the lab and iterate our development. So the practical design challenges and limitations were, first, we were confronted with getting accurate optical alignment of the optics, getting the reverse lens properly aligned with the phone's prefixed, because the phone system is already prefixed, and then the microscope objective, by the time you check the entire optical, predefined optical train, things are already prefixed. You have issues with dust, you have issues with vibrations, you have issues with optical aberrations in the system. I mean, for a good lab, a professional lab in depth in our lab here, that's a very good one, it's all right. But when you take that to the field, to a rural area where there is dust, there is vibrations and all sorts of things, that is almost not practical. And this is one of the practical feedbacks we got on the field. So the smartphone-based microscope, as earlier stated, is good for use in laboratory, environment, but feedback from iterations shows that it is not as useful as we envisaged on the field. So what we did is now to explore the Raspberry Pi-based microscope. And because, of course, like I already said, that it has everything. It has, but decoupled, it has a processor, it has, you can get, build an optical train on it, it has sensors, camera sensors with it that comes with it. And with that, we can almost achieve similar spatial resolution as with a smartphone microscope. So it works quite well for us, and we are quite happy about that. So we tested that. But aside the need to implement a data-driven algorithm for cell detection and estimation as well, there is also need for automating the sample scanning, like you see the lady in the X, Y, and Z direction. And scanning in the Z direction will require some more computational effort to compensate for the defocus aberrations and other aberrations that are present in the system. So the control software, the image acquisition, egg detection, localization, and quantification algorithm must also be implemented on the processor. And since the Raspberry Pi has such capabilities, we finally decided to focus on the further development of the Raspberry Pi. So from this, we learned that the Raspberry Pi gives us better degrees of freedom, and of course, also a good smartphone will cost up to $400, but a complete Raspberry Pi assembly that will produce similar result or even better result with better degrees of freedom will cost probably less than $150. So these are the 4 iterations that have produced 4 generations of Chistoscope. So we've had 4 generations already. And the first generation was a very simple and basic smartphone-based microscope. Based on the result from the field, we developed the second iteration of Chistoscope. And we tested our methodology with both the smartphone and the Raspberry at the second generation. And then we decided, based on all these things I've shared about the limitations and the challenges and the technical optics restrictions, we came to the point where we now narrowed down to Raspberry Pi-based microscope. And from the result obtained from the test phase of the second, we went to the third. And now in the third generation, luckily we're able to successfully ship one of these red boxes to Gabon, to one of the PhD students, Brice, working with Professor Akim in Gabon. And they were able to look at some samples. So you can see some eggs from human urine, filtered human urine samples in the lab. Obviously, that is quite an achievement looking at where we are coming from. What we had in mind was our colleague at LUMC doing all the labor work, and now what we have in Gabon, at least as at June 2020, was something better than this. And now, from the input we got from Gabon, we went further to now develop, because we discovered that this, while this could resolve the shape, of course, of the eggs, you could see them, we were not very comfortable with the spatial resolution we got from it, because we could not resolve the terminal spine as clearly as we want to. So based on that, we went to the fourth generation of, we developed the fourth generation, which is the current iteration. And this fourth generation, the image obtained from culture samples so far, it is quite exciting. We are quite happy with it because we could conveniently resolve the spines, and it looks quite good enough for our algorithm to be trained and developed to do automated detection of eggs in the sample. Currently, the Chistoscope 4.0 has been shipped to Nigeria for some user context analysis and testing, and it is currently with Prosper, another PhD student, under the supervision of Professor Wellington and in collaboration with TU Delft at the University of Lagos. This we find very special because we developed our research based on user context analysis that provided us with feedbacks to optimize our methodology, and we converged to realizing a tool that is practically useful on the field. And we're still doing more testing, planning more testing for that. But before I conclude my presentation, I would like to show some results also from our lensless imaging methodology very quickly. So the lensless imaging method is a very simplified imaging system, lensless digital inline holographic microscope, which represents the simplest possible configuration you can get, as it requires only 3 components: a light source, a sample, and an image sensor. So all the optical train gone, and then we feel this will be more robust. We adopted this inline holographic setup because it is robust and rugged. not using any lenses, and can be very useful in rural areas against harsh environmental conditions, vibrations, dust. You don't have to do lens cleaning, temperature, and pressure, and all sort of handling, since it's a very basic system. Now, with this imaging modality, we developed a large volume holographic imaging for biological sample analysis. And our aim actually is to test if we can actually image the entire 10 microliters of urine in one shot. So take urine sample from a student or a child in school, put it into our container, shine some light through it, and then do some quick reconstruction to see if there are eggs present. It should, if this comes true like we really envisage, it will be robust, of course, it will give quick diagnostics, it will give minimal computational complexity, and you can take it anywhere. Shoebox, small and compatible to take with minimal stress in sample preparation. That is the goal. So we used a consumer-grade Canon camera, shown on the slide as well. And we made some containers, 5mm and 43mm transparent containers for urine samples. And what happens is a digital hologram is recorded as shown in the figure A, and we reconstruct the complex amplitude of the field by solving the inverse source problem, applying back propagation from the sensor to the sample plane. And that's just, we replaced all the lenses with just simple computational method. And you can see that from this computational method, we can reconstruct very quickly the eggs. So you can see 1, 2, and 3 reconstructed eggs from the recorded digital hologram. And then we tested the volume limit. So if you look at A1, A2, A3, A4, that is actually A1 in the image is a recorded hologram of a 5mm volume of urine in a transparent container. So we take urine, put some in a transparent container, and then we just record the hologram in one shot. And the reconstruction of the face is shown in A3, and the intensity image, which is of practical interest actually, is shown in A4. So you can see that we reconstruct this egg quite nicely at this volume. But once we go beyond this volume, we discovered that it was difficult. We recorded a lot of noise in the hologram, and reconstruction was quite a problem and a challenge. And we believe that this is due to the scattering properties of urine. It's a limitation to the maximum volume which can be examined. And then we now put some eggs into PBS, and then we could image much more. PBS, just salt and water, I guess. And then we just look through it, and then we could still, at 43 millimeters, we could still reconstruct in B4 a reasonable, nice image. We are still working on this. This is still work in progress. Results of this has just been published last Monday in Journal of Biomedical Optics. And then we still hope to continue serious, intensive work on this, because this could be very useful to complement the gaps on the field. Really, really useful, because in one shot, you can just, without preparing the sample, take the sample, put it in, strip through it, you get your result. Finally, I just want to say that we are also looking at other imaging modalities. We recently built a low-cost hyperspectral imaging system with off-the-shelf components in our lab in Delft. And we are curious to look at the target sample, the eggs, through a spectrum of wavelength to possibly detect a unique spectral signature of the eggs. Now, if this is accurately determined, hopefully, a combination of specific wavelength can be used to screen an unlabeled sample very quickly for specific targets, for the eggs in the sample. And this might be particularly interesting for label-free, quick detection of cysto eggs in urine or stool sample. But this is still a lot of work in progress, just to show you that we are exploring additional imaging modalities. And we have a lot of partners on this project, as you can see, from NWO to SEMEL, to Nigeria, Ibadan and Lagos, to Leiden, to SEMEL. That is the composition of Inspired. If you need more information on project and partners, please visit the website.